a lot of people that have social anxiety tend to think that they were born with social anxiety, that they are kind of like, it's kind of like a curse, or they are doomed with social anxiety, right? It feels super weird. So today we're gonna talk about a few points, and today I I wanna give you hope. So if you watch this video, you're gonna have a lot of hope, and you're gonna be like, oh shit, maybe I can be socially confident, and maybe I can be myself around people because of the things that I'm gonna talk about. So not only you're gonna have hope, but you're also gonna know what to do when it comes to overcoming your social anxiety. So the first question is, were you born with social anxiety? Were you born like that, right? Because this is how it feels, right? Whenever you go out, whenever you have, let's say you are having a party or something, when you go to the bar, you see that everyone is having a good time, right? Everyone is laughing, everyone is enjoying themselves, everyone is being themselves around people. And then this makes you think that, oh fuck, maybe I was born with social anxiety. Maybe I'm doomed. Maybe I was born like that. And they are born confident. They are good at talking to people. They are good at having a good time with people and making people laugh, right? So when you see this, you kind of start to compare yourself, and you're like, oh, maybe they were born like that. Maybe I was born like this. And it feels like there's no hope, right? Because, like, wow, this is weird. Because anywhere that I go, people are just themselves. People can tell jokes. People can speak up. People can ask the questions and stuff. People can talk to the girls, but I can't. So this makes you kind of like subconsciously you compare yourself, and you start to think, okay, maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe I was born like this, right? Because from my experience, for my entire life, I always struggled with social anxiety, right? When my parents used to take me to church, I would see that whenever we would have events, I would hate it. I would hate it because I would see that everyone else would be talking to themselves, having a good time. Talking to each other, having a good time, laughing with each other, making each other laugh, and I would always be in the corner, super anxious and just hating myself because I couldn't talk to people, right? I would feel bad and I would hate myself because of my social anxiety. It became a part of my identity. Because I don't know how to explain it, but it feels so weird because it's like nobody else is experiencing this. Nobody else have this but me. So the same way, let's say that you have brown hair, or if you have, like, let's say blue eyes, it is the same feel. It is the same way of your social anxiety. It feels the same way. It feels like the same way that you have your brown hair, or you name it. It is the same thing that you have with your social anxiety. It feels like this thing belongs to you. It feels like it becomes a part of your identity. And not only that, but the worst part is that all the people say it too. Oh yeah, he's a nice guy. He's shy. Oh yeah, he's a little quiet. Hey guys, help him out because he struggles with talking to people, right? Hey guys, talk to him because he doesn't know how to talk to people, right? You probably have experienced that. And the reason that that happens is because you have your social anxiety, and then it feels like you were born like that. It feels like it's a part of you, right? It feels super weird. And that's why when you have social anxiety, you tend to think that there's no hope because you were born like that. Because think about this, right? The only way to change the color of your eyes is if you have freaking things on your, like a fake, I don't know what they're called, but like if you have fake things on your eyes, and that will help you to change the color of your eyes. How are you gonna change the color of your skin? How are you gonna change the color of your hair, right? It feels like you cannot change it. So that's why you feel like you have no hope. That's why you feel like you're doomed, that there's no hope, right? My name is David Duarte, and I help shy guys in their 20s overcome the social anxiety. So I make content, and I basically give you everything, the tools and everything that you need in order for you to overcome your social anxiety. But if you need my personal help to overcome your social anxiety, to stop being anxious, to stop being socially awkward, I can help you with that. If you want to be free from your social anxiety, and if you want to be able to approach the cute girl at the grocery store without feeling anxious or socially awkward, if you want to make friends at the gym and then fist bump with the guys and make the jokes without feeling like people are judging you, I can help you to do that with my help. And the best thing is that you are a few days from being free from your social anxiety. You can notice changes and you can feel more confident around people in less than 90 days. So if you need an extra help to overcoming your social anxiety, I'm gonna leave a link on the description. Continue watching the video. But the truth is, and this can help you to have hope and don't feel lonely, and basically stop to put the blame on you when you're talking to people, because you'll be surprised the amount of people that feel socially awkward or that feel anxious. Because if you are someone, how many times in your life have you felt anxiety around people? 82% of people have felt socially anxious. 82% of people have felt social anxiety, have felt anxiety when they're talking to people. So you'd be surprised of the amount of people that have felt like this, right? Because let's say, let me give you an example of an interview, right? The person that is making the interview, that is asking the questions, he's asking himself, what is he thinking of me? Am I asking the right questions? Am I asking them with the right tone? Am I showing authority since I am the manager? And the people that is being interviewed, the person that is interviewed and the person that is being asked these questions, he's thinking the same way and he's feeling the same way. What is he thinking of me? Am I giving the right answers? Right? So in an interview, this happens too. So what happens is, when you go out, when you talk to people, when you talk to strangers, we usually tend to put the blame on us when the conversation doesn't go right, because we put the focus on ourselves, because we have the evidence and the identity of I am socially awkward. But you'd be surprised, because let's say when you approach someone, or when you make the joke, or when you're trying to have a small talk, the other person feels anxious too. The other person is it's kind of like close. He feels uncomfortable talking to people. So that's why when you go out, and when the conversation goes awkward, or it doesn't go right, or you feel super anxious, the other person is anxious too. So that's why if the conversation sucks and it's like, oh my god, that was so awkward, we only focus on ourselves. We only put the blame on us. But the reality is, they were the ones that made it awkward. They were the ones that made the conversation weird and awkward, because they were anxious too. Because at some point they were feeling a little awkward having the small talk with you. Not because the problem is you, but because the problem is them. Right? So instead of thinking, oh my god, like they are a little awkward too. We never think like that. People that have social anxiety never thinks like that. They only put the blame and the focus on themselves. So that's why if the conversation doesn't go right, or it's a little awkward, the problem and the mistake and the fault was them, instead of putting the blame on the other person, right? So this is crazy, because if you would put the blame on another person, you'd be able to be like, oh, maybe I was not that awkward. Maybe it was them. And this is gonna help you to start to overcome your social anxiety, right? Because the grass is not greener on the other side, right? Because you'll be surprised of the amount of good-looking, attractive, successful people that have social anxiety. They feel anxious around others. And like I said, with my own experience, I had the case of approaching people, right? Or approaching strangers, guys, girls, right? And I remember one time I was at the gym, and I approached this guy. I wanted to give a compliment to this guy. I wanted to be social. And I remember when I approached this guy, he was good looking, he was huge. And I was like, hey bro, you're huge, man. What are you doing for your biceps? Because I was trying to I was trying to socialize, right? And I remember that he looked at me and he was giving me the advice. Oh yeah, bro, I do this and I try to go super hard and intensity. But I noticed that when he was talking to me, he wouldn't be looking at my eyes. He would be like looking away kind of like really anxious, right? And I thought to myself, when I started to like change the way that I would see myself, I was like, this guy was a little bit anxious, right? And before I would be like, oh my God, like he was anxious because I asked him the wrong questions, and maybe he's thinking that I'm anxious, maybe he's thinking that I'm awkward, because I would always put the blame on me. But when you go out and when you realize that people are not that good at talking to each other, at talking to strangers, you'll be able to have better conversations, because you're not just focused on yourself. You're not just focused on your performance. You're not just focused on how the other person is perceiving me, because the other person is feeling it too. So the best way to think when you go out is to not put the blame on you, to not put the focus on you, but put it on the other person. Right? You can ask yourself, how can I make this person feel comfortable with me? Right? And then that question will be crazy, right? Because like I said, attractive people, good looking guys, like I helped good looking guys that I was like, how the fuck this guy has social anxiety because he's like good looking, right? Because it's something that is in our mind. So the hope that I want to give you is, you were not born shy, you were made shy. It's kind of like saying, oh, I'm fat. Was I born fat? No, you were not. Right? You were made fat because of your bad decisions, because of the way that you were thinking in the past that made you take the bad decisions, that made you choose something that is not healthy, that made you choose something that is not productive, like not going to the gym, and that's why people are fat, right? So no, you were not born shy, and this is the hope that I want to give you, because if people realize that they were not born socially anxious, this gives them a lot of hope. This gave me a lot of hope when I was like, wow, okay, maybe I was not born like this. Maybe I'm not cursed. Maybe I'm not doomed to be socially anxious. Maybe I can change it. So this is the hope that I want to give you, because social anxiety is an idea, not something that you were born with. It's just an idea. And that idea is the idea that you are not good enough. The belief that there's something wrong with you, that you are a weirdo. That's why you are afraid to go out, right? Because why do you have social anxiety in the first place? It's because you have this idea. Because at some point, every single person on earth has this idea of, I'm not good enough. The problem is that you see them a little confident, good at talking to people, because they believe this idea, and they have this belief. They believe it a little less than you do. You believe it. You are super. How can I say it? You are super. This belief and this idea is super strong on you, and this is why it makes you more anxious than other people. Because social anxiety is not a problem. I think that I spelled it wrong. Social anxiety is a symptom of disbelief, right? So the problem is not you, right? That's what we tend to think. Oh, the problem is me. No, the problem is the idea that you have, right? So this is the hope that I want to give you. Because just like as he said, right, this guy has helped a lot of people with the social anxiety. He said this: social anxiety is a simple belief, a perception, an idea. And an idea is something that can be changed. Ideas can be changed. And the idea that you need to change in order for you to be less anxious and just more confident around people is the idea and the story that you tell yourself, which is, I'm not good enough. There's something wrong with me. I am a weirdo. And that's why it's super scared to be seen. That's why it's super scared to give your opinion. That's why it's super scared to be heard by others. Because there's something wrong with you. Because the problem is, quote unquote, you, right? And this is why you don't want to be seen and heard from other people. Because the problem is you. That's why you feel anxious approaching the girl at the grocery store. That's why you feel anxious telling your joke when you could at work. Or that's why you feel like your ideas, your opinion don't matter. Because of this belief. Because of the idea that there's something wrong with you. I mean, I could give you more examples, but I'm pretty sure that you can relate to this, right? That's why you feel anxious being heard. That's why it feels super scary to be heard and seen, because you're going to put the spot, you're going to put the focus, the attention on you. And remember, there's something wrong with you. So that's why you're gonna feel afraid. Because if I can ask you, give me a concept of you, right? If you could give me a concept of you, if you could describe yourself, you're most likely to say that you can identify with these images, right? You're ugly, you're weird, you don't have nothing to offer, you're boring, no one wants to hang out with you, no, you're not funny, you are socially awkward. And this is the perception, this is a concept that you have about yourself, right? I'm just putting it in front of you, and you're most likely to identify with this, right? It's like Drake and Josh, right? We all watch this TV show. When I was a little kid, I would identify with Josh because he sucks at talking to girls. He doesn't get the girls. He's socially awkward. He's just ugly, fat, right? And you can identify with this guy too. And that's the perception, that's the idea that you have about yourself, right? You don't identify with Drake because, so yeah, this is Drake. You don't identify with Drake because he's good at talking to girls. He's like the Chad, right? He gets the girls, he gets the girlfriends. You identify with Josh. The perception that you have about yourself is this. And that's why you don't want to be seen, because other people will see that you are cringe, that you're a nerd, that you're socially awkward, and therefore you're going to get rejected, right? So the hope that I want to give you, and this is the thing that I love when I first heard about this gave me a lot of hope, because you just got to change this belief and just believe it a little less. If you believe it a little less, you will be able to be more confident and less anxious around people. As simple as that. So we just gotta make more progress on this belief of I'm not good enough, I'm a weirdo, I have a bad perception about myself, in order for you to be more confident around people, in order for you to believe that there's nothing wrong with you. So if you're able to change it just a little bit less, if you believe it at a 6%, you will be 4% more confident. Right? You will be more confident, and therefore you will be less anxious because you believe it at a 6%. Like I said, everyone believes that they're not good enough, but they believe it just a little less than you do. And that's why they're able to be more themselves. They're able to talk to other people because they believe it less. And you believe it at an 8%. Right? You believe it at a 9, 10%. And that's why you feel super anxious and super awkward around people, because you are scared to be seen, because they're going to reject you because there's something wrong with you. So just change the way that you believe this. Just change this idea just a little bit, and you will be a little bit more confident and a little bit more anxious. And that's basically the progress that we want to make, is to bring this to at least 8, 9%, so you can have a healthy perception of you, so you can have a healthy identity about yourself, so that you can be able to be more confident and less anxious around people. That's it, right? It's so simple, and you're able to do it. So that's the hope that I want to give you. Now, how can we change, and can we even change, right? The way that we change is to basically change the way that the perception that we have about ourselves. So yes, we can fucking change. The fucking answer is yes, we can change. You don't have to change. You don't have to be someone else. You don't have to be reborn, because you're not broken. You just gotta change this belief of I'm not good enough. So how the fuck, right, can I do this? The way that I can do this, and first thing first, I want to give you an example, is let's say you are selling a house. You're a realtor, right? And you're selling this house. But the first scenario is that you don't even know the house that you're selling, right? It's a huge house. You don't even know how many rooms there is in the house. You don't even know how many bathrooms there is in the house. You don't even know if it's even good enough, right? You don't even know if the house is in bad conditions. How are you going to be selling the house? You will be anxious. You're not going to be able to give the best that you have. And people will be able to notice. The buyers will notice that, hey, this guy doesn't even know the house. You can tell that he's a little bit nervous. He's anxious selling the house because you don't really know the house. And you even think that there might be something wrong with the house, that the house is in bad conditions. So when you're gonna be selling the house, you're gonna feel anxious. But now let me give you another scenario. You study every single room, every single corner. You know how many rooms it has. You know every single inches of the house. You know everything that could be good for you to sell the house. You know it. You know it for you know the details, like super in depth, the details of the house. How do you think you're gonna be able? How do you think you're gonna sell it? You're gonna be confident. You're gonna be like, dude, I would love to live here. You should live here too, right? So guess what? Just the example that I gave you, it can relate to you. Because when you go out, when you talk to people, when you interact with people, when you tell a joke, when you approach the girl, you're selling yourself out. You basically are offering yourself to others. But just like the example of the house, you don't even know yourself. You don't even know who you are. You don't even know your values, your trait, your strengths. And all that you can see from yourself are your weaknesses, your flaws, the time that you fucked it up. You are carrying guilt and shame. And that's when you go out, when you're going to offer yourself to others, you feel anxious and you don't feel confident. Because you don't even like what you're giving to others, right? That's why you have social anxiety. Because you don't know yourself and you don't even like yourself, right? So the solution is, and this is gonna sound like a spiritual hippie. Oh, you gotta get to know yourself. You gotta know who you are. But this is simple, and I'm gonna break this down for you, right? The way that we can get to know who we are, and the way that we can basically know who we are without being hippie or a spiritual or going to the or become a monk in order to find yourself and discover who you are, it's super simple, right? You just gotta know your traits, your strengths, your value, and know that you're good at something. Know your skills, your strength, to be able to be like, oh shit, I got this thing and this is good, and I can offer to people. Other people can be impressed. I can impress others. I can help other people, or other people that love this. Let's say you're good at drawing, you're good at, well, you might not be good at public speaking, but let's say you're good at entrepreneurship, at business, whatever the case is, you can be with people that have the same values, that love the same thing that you love, that have the same passion that you do, and you will be able to feel more accepted. You will be able to offer something to other people. And another thing is that you hate yourself. You have a bad relationship with yourself because you're not proud of yourself. You're carrying guilt. And the worst judge, the worst enemy that you have right now, it's not other people, it's you. So you have to love yourself. And I know that this might sound gay as fuck, right? Oh my god, this is gay as fuck, bro. I'd rather just, be disciplined, take cold showers. You can do that. Those things are super good. But if you really want to solve your problem, you have to change the way that you see yourself and understand who you are, what your traits are, what your values, your strengths are, in order for you to stop to believe that you're not good enough and that there's something wrong with you. So if you want to skip this, by all means you can. But hey, if you're still struggling with the same thing years or months, this is the reason why. Because it's like, imagine if you are taking a medicine, you're taking a pill that will help you on other areas of your life, but it's not helping you on the ones that you want to solve, which is your social anxiety. So that's why I'm giving you the pill and the medicine, and if you take it, if you take action, you will be able to be less anxious. So I know this sounds cringe, this sounds hippie, this sounds gay as fuck, but this is the solution, right? So something weird happens to people that have social anxiety. I used to struggle with this too. And I noticed that a lot of people that I have helped in the past, they struggle with the same thing. I don't know why. Well, I know why. There's two fears that people with social anxiety have, which I'm gonna break that down later. But people that have social anxiety, they tend to see how bad they are. They have evidence, they have stories of why they are not good enough. For some reason, they can only see their flaws, mistakes, and weaknesses, and these make them feel anxious and carry guilt and shame. And that's why they feel anxious around people, because they feel like they're gonna get rejected because they are rejecting themselves. So people do this out of fear, right? And the reason that they're not able to see their strengths is because they do this out of fear. They don't want to be they feel like they're gonna be selfish if they are like, oh yeah, I'm good at this, right? Or they don't want to be seen as a threat, because if you talk to someone who's good at something, this makes you feel inferior. This makes you compare yourself, and this makes you feel like shit. And that's why we don't like to do this with other people, because we feel like we're gonna be a threat. We feel like we are being selfish and we're making them feel miserable. But why do we feel miserable? Why people that have social anxiety feel like this? It's because they don't even know who they are. So that's why they tend to compare themselves. Oh, he's good at something. He's good at that thing. I'm not. And this make them feel inferior. This make them feel like they're gonna get rejected because this person is better than them. Right? You can probably relate to this, because I used to relate to this, and a lot of people can relate to this. So the solution is basically find your traits, your strengths, your powers, right? Because this is what is making you fear, because you don't even know who you are, because you can only see your weaknesses, failure, flaws, and this makes you think that I'm not good enough. You're basically hypnotized. And it's super hard for you to see this. And it's super hard for you to... Let me see. Here you go. It's super hard for you to see that you're good at something. To find your traits. To find that you are actually good at talking to people. Because you're hypnotized. Because right now, if I said, oh, you're good at something. You're good at talking to people. You have a lot of good things in you. You have a lot of strengths. You're good at something. Your mind is blocking that message, because like I said, you're hypnotized, and all that is in your head is, I'm not good at anything. I'm always boring. No one wants to hang out with me, right? So this is the reason these are the beliefs and these are the stories that are keeping you socially anxious, right? Because every single person that has social anxiety have these beliefs. I always have awkward conversations with people. I'm boring. I'm not good at talking to people. I have nothing to offer. I'm not good at anything. Because you are hypnotized. Because you only see your flaws, mistakes, and weaknesses. And you're carrying shame and guilt. And you don't like yourself. And you don't want people to see you, because you think that they're going to reject you, because you believe that you're not good enough. So, how the fuck do we find our strengths and our values? Well, right now you're good at something. Your mind is gonna block this message, but right now you're good at something, because you just gotta talk to your mom, your friends, the family members that you have, and you will be eventually able to find the answer, right? Because right now, if you cannot, your mom has said this, oh my god, you're good at this. Oh, you should do X, Y, and Z because you're super good at it. Oh my god, I see that you were talking with passion when you talk about certain things, right? Or people are like, oh my god, I would never be able to do that, right? Other people have been able to see the capacity, the strengths, the traits that you have. So that's why every single time that people are like, wow, you're good at this, or you're good at that, or you should be this, or I would never be able to do that, you have talent on certain area, those are your traits. Your traits, those are your strengths. Use them in your advantage. They'll be like, oh yeah, it wasn't that good. Yeah, I could be better. Stop the fucking negativity and just be like, oh yeah, maybe I'm good at this. If I just continue doing this, or if I just continue leveling this skill or this thing that I have, that a lot of people are like, wow, you're good at this, I will be able to be super good. And that's your strength. Those are your traits. Those are the things that you could offer to people, right? And another way to find yourself, to find your traits, is to think about the people that you admire the most, right? What traits do they have? What traits do these people have? Maybe they have charisma. Maybe they are good at with art. Maybe they are good writers. Maybe they have discipline. Think about the person that you admire the most, and then think about their traits. And you want to know something that is crazy? Is that we admire the people that we resonate with the most. The traits that you identify are either traits that you yourself have but are not acknowledged, or traits that you have but are not fully developed just yet. And I'm gonna give you my example. So think about the people that you admire the most, and you resonate with them because you yourself have these traits. Because you yourself could be just like them if you start to put in more practice on the skills and the traits that these people have. So that's why you are able to find your trait and your strengths by seeing what other people say about you, and then also think about the person that you admire the most. And that's why if you do this, you're most likely to find your not your mistake, your traits and your values and your strengths. Because this was me, right? I was hypnotized, right? Because I would only see my weaknesses, my flaws, my mistakes. Let me give you my example, right? Because for the most part, and the stories that I would tell myself was, no one wants to hang out with me. I am boring. No one wants to hang out with me. I am super awkward. I suck at talking to people. I have nothing to offer to people. I'm not good at anything, and no one wants to hang out with me. You could probably relate to this, right? And when I first started, I started working in a restaurant, right? A lot of people used to say to me, dude, you're super good at talking to people. The customers love you, because I would have interactions with people, with the customers at the restaurant. I would have an interaction with them, and then the manager or people around me would be like, dude, they love you. The customers love you, dude. And then some girls would stare at me too, right? Well, that has nothing to do with this, but people would say this to me, but I would always reject it. I was like, I suck at talking to people. I'm boring. I'm not good enough. I'm not good at talking to people. I'm not good at making friends. I'm not good at talking to strangers. People can see that I'm anxious. But the reality is that I was good at talking to people, because people would say that. People would see that in me, but I wouldn't see that in me, in myself. So, and then I would think about the people that I admire the most, because, you probably know who Hamza is, right? And then I have a friend in Florida. I'm in New York, by the way. So I have a friend in Florida. And I remember when I visited him, I would always see the way that he would talk to other people, like strangers, servers. And I would admire that of him. I would be like, God damn, I wish I could be like him, right? Why? Because I was admiring their traits. They could be themselves around people. They had charisma. They would smile people. They would make people feel good. And the reason that I would admire these traits, it's because I had them myself. Because people would tell me that, and then I would admire this myself. So I was like, wait, maybe for 1 second, I'm good at talking to people. Maybe for 1 second, these things are just lies that I'm telling myself. These are not true. So that's when I first started to see myself as a different person. I was like, wait, maybe I'm not that fucking, maybe I'm not really that terrible at talking to people. Maybe I don't suck at talking to people, because of all of the evidence that I had, because of the people that I would admire. Because basically this is not like, basically this is what psychology says, right? If you admire someone, it's most likely that you can resonate with them, because you can resonate with them the most because of the traits that they have. Oh, people will tell me that. So that's why I started to believe that I'm good at talking to people, that I'm funny, that I have actually something to offer to people, because they're going to have a good time with me, basically, right? So that's why I started to see myself as someone different, because I would always find the evidence. And not only that, but you can find the evidence in your past, right? Because think about this. This guy, I would always see him, I'm disgusting, I'm a loser, pathetic. But this guy has so much potential. Because I remember when I was like 12, I was like super fat, right? I started to I started to work out. I had discipline, and I started to work out by myself. I was like exercising and everything. I started to lose weight. I remember that I went from drinking, no kidding, 5 sodas every day to no sodas. And then people would be like, dude, you're changing. Dude, you're losing weight. Even this guy, I would think, oh, he's a loser. No, he's a champion, bro, because he had discipline. He was able to do amazing things. He was able to get rid of the soda, the sugar. And I see this guy with respect, even though he's fat, even though he's ugly. But this guy is me. And I'm like, wow. Even before, when I was addicted to porn, when I was jerk off like 8 times a day, I still have something good to say about myself, because I was like, yeah, I know that I was a fucking addicted to porn and all of that. But I admire this person, because he went from having 5 sodas every day to no sugar at all, to drink water instead, right? And when I see this, I'm like, oh, maybe I was never broken. I wouldn't be able to see the good within me. I wouldn't be able to see the traits that I had, the strengths that I had, because I was always blind. Because I would only see my mistakes. Oh yeah, I was addicted to porn. I was fat. No, I was disciplined. This little kid was disciplined, and I'm like, wow, I admire this person, and I'm proud of this person. So the solution that I would say is make a list of the evidence that support your traits, that support that you are not good enough. Because right now, you're just finding ways to prove yourself right. I'm not good enough because of this and this and that and this, right? But the small wins count. You're good enough. You are capable of great things. Right now, you don't have to become somebody else. You have wins right now that you could tell. You have a lot of things, a lot of potentials that you're good at, a lot of traits, but you don't acknowledge them yet. But if you're able to see these, just find the evidence. I'm good at talking to people, because this guy was like, oh my God, you're so funny, bro. This person was like, wow, people love you, right? The same way that I did is I started to find the evidence of why I'm good enough. What support this trait. Oh, people are telling me that I'm good at that I'm good at talking to people. Oh, I admire these people because I resonate with the traits. And when you start to do this, when you start to make a list of your, I call them the social wins, right? The time that maybe a girl was staring at you at the mall, or you made someone laugh, or someone was like, wow, you're this or you're that, right? All of those things that make you feel proud, that make you feel like maybe I'm not that fucked up. Write them down and read them, acknowledge the small wins. Stop the, oh, that was not good enough. Oh yeah, this could be better. Yes, but think about this. That could be worse too. So any small progress, any small progress, or any small progress of discipline, of changing, of a small win, of something that you were afraid to do but you did it anyway, something that you didn't want to do but you did it anyways, those are wins. And guess what? If you're able to do it one time, you're able to do it 100 times, right? Think about this. If I can clap one time, I'm not gonna be like, oh shit, like, oh no, it was luck. Oh man, yeah, it was luck, man. I cannot do it again. You're dumb, right? It's the same thing with you. Oh yeah, but that time it doesn't count because of X, Y, and Z, and I was lucky, and maybe I was good at talking to this person, because it doesn't matter. If I can clap one time, I can do it 1,000, 100 times. Same thing with you. If you are able to be confident one time, disciplined one time, be able to feel proud and good about yourself, being able to be attractive, being able to talk to someone without being awkward, you can do it 100 times. And if you're able to think about your social wins, your wins, the things that make you proud of yourself, you are able to change your perception of yourself, of the nerd, the stupid, the weirdo, and you are believing and see the real person, the lion within you, the king within you, the giant within you. You gotta wake the giant up. You gotta wake that person. And like I said, you don't have to become someone else. You already have a lot of wins, traits. You gotta sit down and really think about your traits And when you do that, you will be able to find evidence to basically to be like, oh man, I can offer this to this person. Oh yeah, if I go out, I can talk to people about this, and I can help them with this, right? But you gotta find yourself and stop being hypnotized by your flaws and your mistakes, and start to see the real you, the real potential. And that's how you're gonna be able to stop to believe that you are not good enough, and you will be able to just decrease it. And when you decrease it, you decrease your social anxiety, and you also increase your confidence around people. That's how it works. And the other solution that I would say, the second solution, is compassion and self-love, right? Because fuck the shoots. Fuck the fucking shoots. Oh, I should be doing this, or I shouldn't be feeling anxious around others. I shouldn't have said this. I should have said this. Fuck the shoots. You said it, you did it, that's it. You cannot change it. But what can you do with this? You can have compassion. You can get yourself up and be like, okay, fair enough, I fucked it up, or I said the wrong thing. Dude, literally, like, I was anxious last time. I was approaching this girl and at the gym. Instead of being like everyone else, just looking at her and be like, fucking getting her naked getting her naked in my mind, I approached her. And I was like, hey, I think like you're cute. My name is David. And as I was gonna I was extending my hand to freaking shake her hand. Like, hey, my name is David, what's your name? When I was gonna do that, I was literally shaking. And then she was able to see that. Right? And then she gave her hand, hey, my name is Leah. Oh, nice to meet you. Can I have your Instagram? And she was like, I have a boyfriend. Like, I fucked it up. And I'm not attacking myself. Oh, well, that was awkward. I'm having a good time. I can get it to share with people. I'm vulnerable, you know? And that's okay. I was too nervous. I don't know why I was nervous. I guess there are good times and bad times. But since I have compassion with myself, I no longer attack myself of, oh, that was so dumb. Oh my God, what did she think of me? No, it was a good time. She's thinking that I'm weirdo because I'm fucking shaking. And that's okay. Fuck the shoots and fuck the self-attack. Right? Because you're not where you want to be just yet. And that's okay. It's kind of like, imagine if I am upset every single time that I go to a gym because I'm trying to bench 300 pounds. But I can't just yet. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm fucking weak. I'm fucking pathetic. I cannot lift 300 pounds. I'm not there yet. And that is okay. Because little by little, with progress, with the small steps, with the small actions, I will be eventually able to lift 300 pounds. Right? So stop beating yourself and fuck the shoots. This shouldn't be like this. This should be like that. I should be like that. Fuck the shoots. Have self-acceptance and compassion. You're not where you want to be just yet. And that's okay. Right? That's why you're watching this video, to overcome your social anxiety. That's why if you watch this video and you take action, you will be able to be someone else. And like I said, if you want to take an extra action, I'm gonna leave. There's a link in the description that I can help you to overcome your social anxiety, right? But stop beating yourself up. And the last solution that I want to give you is, we gotta define who we are, what our values is, and all of that. And the last thing that I want to say is define who you are not, right? This is called the differentiation concept, which is, you're wrapped up under people's skins. You gotta separate yourself as soon as you can. Because this is how it looks, right? When you go out, when you have friends, maybe your girlfriend, maybe close friends, maybe your family members, this is how it looks. This is them and this is you, right? You see yourself based on what they believe, based on what they like, based on their values, their strengths and traits, and that's why you tend to compare yourself, because you are wrapped up under their skin. You do whatever they say, you believe whatever they say, and you define yourself according to whatever they define themselves, right? So you gotta separate yourself, and you gotta define what your beliefs, thoughts, desires, values are, because most likely your values, beliefs, thoughts, desires, opinions are not the same that they have. and that is okay. Because we tend to believe that different means inferior or better, right? Oh, I believe this, and they believe that. Oh, therefore they are better than me, and I feel inferior. No. Oh, they are studying, I don't know. They want to be police, and I want to study, I don't know, entrepreneurship in my online business. Oh, but that's risky, and therefore they are better than me. It's like, no, man. We have different journeys. We have different values, opinion, desires, thoughts, beliefs, traits that we can use in our advantage. So stop being under people's skin. Separate yourself. Use that differentiation concept so that you can see yourself as someone who is separated to them. They have their beliefs, they have their life, they have their journey, and that's okay. You have yours too, right? It's kind of like what I always like to think about the example of Avengers, when I tend to like compare myself or be like, oh, that guy has this, that guy had that, right? We're like the Avengers, right? Think about this. The comics, they have spent millions of dollars. They know about psychology. They know about... They're good, right? There was a lot of thinking behind their scenes, behind the movies. And they didn't come up with the same character that has the same size, the same color, the same powers, because that would be boring. That wouldn't be attractive to people. Think about this. All of them have their own, in their unique sizes, colors, strengths, stories, and journeys. None of them have the same thing. Well, maybe they have one thing in common, which is the purpose of defending their word. But they do it with their own traits. They do it with their own strengths, right? So you could be a Captain America in the group of friends that you have. Or you could be the Captain America at work. Yeah, maybe other people are chasing other things. Maybe other people want to be a police or whatever the case is. And you love the thing that you are studying, or your dreams or your goals. Maybe it's entrepreneurship. I don't know what it is. But stop to think that different means inferior or better. You're just different, and that's okay. You gotta start to separate yourself. And you are the Captain America. And then maybe there's someone who has a lot of strength. Maybe someone is Hulk. And that's good. He has a strength. But you also have your powers. You also have your journey, your strengths. You are the Captain America of that story, of the group of friends, right? So stop to compare yourself, different yourself, and just being different is okay, right? Having a different opinion is fine. So the action step, you should take a screenshot of this, right? You should take a screenshot of this, right? Practice self-compassion. Fuck the shoots. Stop to freaking think that things should be different and you shouldn't be like that, and just be more accepted. Once you're accepted, find what your traits are, what your value, your strength. You're good at something right now. You just gotta find that out, and then define who you are not. Separate yourself in order for you to stop to see yourself as someone's different and as someone who is able to talk to other people. And remember, if you're able to decrease the power of this belief that you're not good enough, you will be able to decrease your social anxiety as well. As simple as that. So you were not born like that. You can change it, and this is how to change it. So thank you.